Today I'm going to tell you about kiwis, one of my favourite animals. While I'm going to tell you facts about kiwis, I'm going to make a kiwi patch. A patch last. I put some pictures up somewhere on what I've done before. Yeah, surprisingly, I didn't know I could do that. I guess we'll see if it's just a skill I have constantly, or if it's just one of those bursts of creativity moments. Let's get started, shall we? We got different colours. I've already cut the patch out. First off, to choose a kiwi, the most abundant kiwi, the Tokoeka. So now that we've got the outline, this is what it looks like. Dark brown, a little bit of a lighter brown, off-white, some black for the eyes, and we sort of got a little, take this long string. It seems a bit too thick to just use like that. So what I do, when I cut it, usually it ends out like that. So I'm going to just take a bit of it, pull it through like this. Whatever it is. Poke it through the opening, pull a little bit through, hold the needle and the longer bit of the string, pull, and it round it out. From the picture we've got, it's got like streaks. I'm just gonna start backside. Leave like a little bit, and you want to poke it exactly where you came from. Exactly the same area, or as best as you can, until it feels like tight enough. So what I've heard is poking it over and over again. That's just making like a knot stays in place. And if you're actually sewing, you would want to keep sutures as close as possible. Now, the Tokoeka, spelled as Tokoeka, so maybe pronouncing it wrong. They are the most abundant kiwi species out of the 5 known kiwi species. They are also known as the southern brown kiwi. According to data from Save the Kiwi and Doc, from 2015 data, there is approximately 25,900 individuals. There are 4 distinct geographical forms, so taxa. There is the Hast Tokoeka, which quote-unquote loves mountains. It's the rarest of the taxa. There's only around 400 individuals. There is the Northern Fiordland Tokoeka, the Southern Fiordland Tokoeka, and the Rakiura, aka the Stewart Island Tokoeka, which is the most abundant taxa, where there's about 15,000 individuals. The Stewart Island Tokoeka differs from most kiwis because they live in a large family. The offspring are cooperative breeders, which means that they help out with new offspring, giving them a higher chance of survival. And they are cooperative breeders until there is vacant area available, so they can make their own territory. And the chicks may stay up to 7 years. Because they've got cooperative breeders, it's not unusual for a pair to have 2 clutches. There is a theory that they are so different because of the effect of the weather in the southern climate. Scientific name is Apteryx australis. Fact, kiwis didn't originate, they originally came over from Australia. So there's a theory that the bird from Australia could fly over to New Zealand, then because of conditions they weren't able to fly back, so they just adapted to the island life over in New Zealand. New Zealand is an island which originally, for settlers and the Polynesians, before humans came to the island, the only mammal were the long-tailed and short-tailed bats. They're like the size of birds. They're tiny. And the predators, it's like the Hast eagle, which was a ginormous eagle, and it would prey on other birds, mostly the moa. So when the moa became extinct because they were exploited, the Hast eagle lost like a main food source, which then led to their extinction as well. Because there was the Hast eagle, which was like the main big predator, that's why a lot of the birds over in New Zealand are flightless. You had a better chance of survival if you were closer to the floor, and why a lot of them are nocturnal. Now I may have fucked this up a little bit, but what I like to do is I just go with the flow, just do whatever. Because if you look at the picture, sure these should have probably been a little bit longer. There's like loads of different colours going on. Didn't say I was a professional. This may not look exactly like the photo. But anyways, more about the tokoeka. They are monogamous. All kiwi species seem to be monogamous, although some can go through divorce, or if they lose their loved one, can go and look for someone else. Okay, before we continue, see how I've not got too much, and now I've accidentally made it double. But what you do when you're close to the end, you basically do the same thing as you started. You just go over one spot multiple times. Hope that it'll stay. I think that's gonna stick. Just have a fabric scissor. I don't know where it went. I cut that off. Then we just continue. I don't know if this is in focus, but the video is just gonna some dark brown now. Try and fix it out. So usually I take. You don't want it too long because then it just creates knots. And when it creates knots, it just gets annoying. Where did the needle go? That's why I like to put. There we go. But sometimes you just sort of manage to loop string or the thread over the original thread, like the first thread you put through, and that just locks it in. And even if I've seen that I did that, just still go over it a few more times. I feel like if you do at least 5, you should be good. If you want to do more, do more. If you want to do less, be my guest. I wouldn't do less. Okay, or monogamous. If the partner dies, the bird will find a new mate. Not all kiwi species do, I don't think. From my knowledge and from the notes I have, tokoeka is one of those that will find a new mate. Also, I reckon it's also based on the individual. I guess it's just more common to see since it's been noted down. Males incubate 60% of the time. Females take 20% of the incubation. Females take night shifts, and then 20%, and then the other 20%, the incubation is done by the young birds, cooperative breeders. What the fuck? The cooperative breeders I was talking about earlier. So they help out, and by helping out, I guess they also incubate the egg for the parents. I think it is quite common to see that the males do most of the incubating. The Northland, or just the brown kiwi, also known as just the brown kiwi, found on the North Island. Males tend to do a lot of the incubation, and then what they do to, like when they tag kiwis, they tag the males. Because the males do the incubation, you can read from the tag whether or not that incubating, or there's some offspring. It tracks how much the male or the bird moves during the night or just during the day. When the male starts incubating, he's out less. Instead of like 12 hours or so, 10 hours more, he'd be out for 3 hours. Egg to body mass ratio is one of the largest family of aves. Is it the family? Because phylum is vertebrates. Ray. Kingdom, phylum. Kevin, please come over for gay sex. Kevin, kingdom, please. Phylum, come. Class. Oh, it's probably the class of aves then. Over, order, for, family, a, Guinness, whatever, however you pronounce it. Texas species. What were we talking about? Eggs, I think. Yeah, biggest body to egg ratio, I think it's about 20%, 30%. Yeah, okay, I was right. It's about 20%. Oh yeah, fun fact about the yolk proportion. So according to this, which is based okay, that's based on Facebook. That's not great. Okay, we don't know how true this is. But the yolks, right? So birds lay eggs, and then in those eggs, there's the egg whites and the yolk. The size of the yolk determines whether or not, when the egg hatches, if the chick is precocial or atrocial. Cocial? It's either acocial or yeah. Acocial means that they look more like terrifying, like a little baby alien. Like they don't have any feathers, they can't see yet. They look like a naked ball sack almost, right? Now precocial, that's when they look like the adult, but just like a mini version. And the more yolk there is, precocial they become. Kiwis are super precocial, which means that when they hatch, they could literally just live on their own. No need for parental care. Although they still do get parental care, usually just by the males. Sometimes the female will be around, but not really be there. The male's the one who does most of the work in most of the species, Kiwi species. Yolk percentage, okay, apparently lion or whatever this AI, I hate this AI thing though. I mean I like it, but it's so do I trust it? No, you've learned to look at the source, and it 65 to 70%. I reckon it's between 60% and 70% is the yolk. Okay, I don't think I can make this look exactly like the picture. Usually put these white patches onto a different coloured patch, slightly bigger, finish the patch. See if I can show you, because I've got fish. That's what I mean, there's the white patch and then there's the out. And because I've got a really difficult time of sewing the white one onto the other coloured one, I use a fabric glue. It sticks on. It won't move, so then I can just sew it together while it's stuck. Then I have to wash it because I don't know if all fabric glue smells this way. But the one I have smells disgusting. It smells very chemically. It just stinks. The first time I used it, I made the mistake of using it indoors without any open window, and I felt lightheaded. It doesn't smell like shit. It sort of smells like very, very toxic shit. I don't know how to describe it. It's foul. But it's the only fabric glue I've ever used, so I don't know if that's just normal or I've just got a bad one. Some would say I have a slight obsession with kiwis, and I would agree with them. I do have an obsession with kiwis. I don't know if I've always had this obsession. I think it definitely increased once I did conservation work in New Zealand during my gap year. I think I definitely did hear about them beforehand, but I think growing up I was more of a mammoth guy. Don't get me wrong, birds are fucking cool, but I am more into the flightless birds. I don't know. New Zealand birds fucking rock. The other birds rock as well, but I don't have that big of an interest compared to kiwis. In the UK, we've got a bunch of different tits, which I find hilarious. That's one thing I like about the bird community, as one may say. Just the fact that the names of these birds can be fucking hilarious. I remember, because I'm studying zoology at the moment, I remember I was talking about coconut rocks. That's an actual bird's name, by the way. I understood the rock part because it lived next to a cliff, close to cliffs. Something to do with cliffs. And what I didn't get was the cock part. Maybe it's like cockerel? Apparently I spoke very loudly. Usually I speak very quietly, but I was speaking quite loud, and we were in public areas, and then I started noticing people looking around, looking back at me. I was like, oh shit, okay, my bad, sorry. So I stopped talking about it. But it turns out that the cock part is what I said, cockerel, male bird, the roosters, right? They're known as cockerels, aka cocks. So that's cockfighting. I once went to a murder mystery birthday party, and I was Slaughter the Gamekeeper. And one of my first cards I get, so you get cards with like info on them that you're not allowed to share unless someone like manages to ask you. One of my first cards said that Slaughter the Gamekeeper is a gambler and he does cockfighting. And in my head, I was thinking quite literal. I don't like, not knowing that it meant like rooster fighting. He was a great character though, I loved him. I did end up being the murderer. I had an accomplice, which was the wife of the murderer. And apparently I got the priest into gambling, so he got in trouble for using the church's money on gambling. I had an affair with the wife, and I guess we're like, yeah, no, kill the husband. Yeah, birding community. You got the two-footed booby, grey-footed, red-footed booby. Turns out booby apparently means like stupid, so they just think these birds are quite stupid. I don't know if they're actually stupid. Maybe they are, I don't know. But it's like, oh, what's calling these guys stupid? And of course we've got all the tits. Blue tits, grey tits. Long-tailed tit. This Kiwi, I'm gonna be honest, is not looking great. But we can still redeem ourselves. Recording me is just gonna play some music now because I feel like I'm gonna lose my voice. I'm gonna be honest. Right. Clean the area a little bit. Cause I think I've done what I can. It's what I've got the energy to do. Yeah, here we go. A little Tokoeka, Alvin Brown Kiwi. It might not look exactly realistic, but it's something. And I'll make more of these as the time goes, and just have videos of me making them bed up in the background while I give you facts about them that I've researched. So yeah, that took Weka.